It's a very day nine thing of you to say.
Yes. In 3, 2, 1. This Week in Blizz is proudly sponsored by DogHouseSystems.com. If you use the code TWIB at checkout, that's TWIB, you will get double memory on your next Doghouse system. We thank DogHouseSystems.com for their support of This Week in Blizz. And also TweakedAudio.com. Go to TweakedAudio.com for high-performance, noise-reducing earbuds. Use our code TWIB to get 30% off plus free shipping on your next order, and support This Week in Blizz in the process.
Armed and ready. Who wants some?
This week in Blizz.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to This Week in Blizz. I'm Garrett Weinzerl,
I'm Ben Zweifel.
And I'm Kyle Ferguson.
and this is the show keeping you up to date on the worlds of Blizzard Entertainment. Gentlemen, welcome to another week. How you guys doing? Ben, have you recovered from the stomping we received this weekend at the local Magic tournament?
Yes, we went to the pre-release. It was a lot of fun.
It was a blast, man.
Yep.
I'm jazzing it up for the sake of the listeners. We didn't do too bad.
No, not for our first live event. I mean, you have to take into account a couple of things. First of all, we're terrible players, and we don't know what we're doing.
Yep,
That
that
and
is a
second, this
factor.
was and second, this was our first live event that we went to. So
Yes.
it was pretty fun.
Yeah, and it was probably maybe the 7th game of Magic I had ever played. I played
so
more
you did
games of
remarkably
Magic. I played more games of Magic at this tournament than I have in my entire life. So,
I didn't realize you were going in that cold.
oh yeah. The only person I have to play with is you, and we don't have that much. This is not counting all of the games of the Planeswalkers Steam thing.
I know, but that doesn't
really
that
count.
doesn't take into account the whole all the different things that it holds your hand for that you actually have to do once you're playing a real game.
Yeah. I probably would have won my first round had I remembered about the entire mechanic of my guild, Extort.
Oh yeah, kind of important.
Come the second round, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to use this now, and then I got no Extort cards and I lost. So hey, go round.
Well, it's
two.
a whole new level of endurance to it, those things. I mean, at home, you play 1, maybe 2 games in a row before you take a break and play something else.
Yeah, and the fact that it started at technically it was meant to start at midnight, and then we didn't get going till about 1. So that was
Which means we didn't play our first game until damn near 2.
Oh, geez.
No. We played our first game around 1:30ish, I think.
We were sitting doing
Well,
nothing
either
until
way, we got
12:45.
done at about 6 in the morning.
Yeah,
So
it was wondrous.
yeah.
Either way, that's about 12 hours from my prime strategy time.
Yeah, totally. I'm with you there.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
that last game, man, was epic that I played. You saw some of it. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So-
You seemed substantially less lost than you did in the beginning. I will say that.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely feeling a little better.
I know what this card does. Yeah.
We got a bunch of cards now working on a deck. We're all having a good time, but we're not here to talk Magic. Oh, no, sirree. We're here to talk Blizzard, Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, and everything in between, which means we lead off this week with a story about BlizzCon, because the tickets went on sale this past week, all of them, and, ladies and gentlemen, they're all gone. What a surprise.
Yep.
And I would almost even say, but what wasn't a surprise was how fast they sold it, but that isn't a surprise at all.
No.
They went through, their expected paces this last Wednesday and Saturday, although most community sites reported tickets selling out within about 30 minutes each day. In actuality, all tickets were effectively claimed via the ticket queue system within about, 1 to 2 seconds after the purchase button became active.
Yep.
That was fun. So we were all on Skype together,
Yes.
so we knew how many to
Because if you were
buy.
going to tell this story, I was.
Oh, no, I'm going to tell this story. So
Preemptive strike.
it was Wednesday night, and to give you a window into my life, on Wednesday night, it is the night that I don't do a show during the week. So it's like Katie and I's middle of the week date night. So we usually make martinis and cook something good. So I was a little tipsy off too many martinis, and I'm sitting down to do the BlizzCon ticket thing, and everyone's asking me, because I've gotten tickets before, all right, how does this work, Garrett? And I'm like, all right, here's what you do. when that button comes up, first of all, you just need to work on your F5 APM. You just spam the shit out of that button.
Oh, I had it going on. I had 2 different browsers open.
Yeah, man, it sounded like a game of StarCraft over our Skype conversation.
Basically, that mechanical
funny.
keyboard really helps out.
Yeah, exactly. But I was like, all right, guys, so when you spam F5, when you see the purchase button, it's going to ask you how many you want. Ignore that completely. Just hit go, because you can change your quantity when you get to the checkout thing. And this is what we did. And this is the really interesting part about it, not the funny part at all. So we're all sitting on Skype together, all right? So Kyle, you're in Chicago. Ben, you're in Florida, not that far away from me. And our girlfriends are all obviously on the same network as all of us. And wives. Sorry, Ben, I keep forgetting you're married.
Sorry.
Anyway, so we hit purchase now. I was, number 83?
Right.
Katie, my girlfriend, sitting right next to me, same network, equally badass computer, place 1400 within not even a second difference of clicking.
Yep. Abby and I were 2,000 and 3,000 respectively.
Yep. And Kyle, what did you get? I forget.
I was sitting at 1,500.
Okay, so around the same place as Katie. Ridiculous to think there's that many people poised that they're ready for that button click.
Yeah.
And
I mean, to the credit of the ticket, it's not really a convention as much as a demonstration. I mean, you are not paying really as much to enter the building as you are for those developers to take time out of their day and get paid for it to put together a presentation for you there.
Right. Well, I mean, it is.
Oh, totally, yeah.
It is definitely a convention, but I mean, the only other conventions I go to are local Florida conventions, and this just puts them all to shame. It's like going to see your local, Catholic band at the local youth group, and then going to see Iron Maiden. That's the comparison.
Or you got like MegaCon, which is more like a convenient place to buy a whole bunch of crap.
Yes,
Yeah,
and then
right.
and this year was the first year I was like, I'm going to look on Amazon before I buy anything. I left without anything because it was all cheaper on Amazon.
Oh man, that's disappointing. You got to walk away with a toy.
I was this close to buying a sonic screwdriver because I want to get a couple of them and put them on my bookshelf for now that I'm a Doctor Who fan. But no, I decided not.
Yeah,
to
man, it's the
buy
first warm
anything.
day in Chicago here. I got my Doctor Who shoes on. I've been holding on to these forever.
What are Doctor Who shoes?
Oh, they're just, red Converse, and you don't wear anything that matches them.
You have red Converse? Really? I didn't know that.
It does now.
I didn't know you were a fan of the Chuck Taylors.
They're more boat shoes, but whatever, same.
Oh, then they're not Doctor Who shoes.
They don't have the
Liar.
star on them.
Liar.
You didn't have the star on them.
Yeah, he did. They
were
high top red Chuck Taylors. Anyways,
I don't
that's
think
neither here nor
that's-
there. Back to our funny BlizzCon story. So as I had told you all that you should just not choose your quantity, wait until the checkout. I get to my checkout and I can't find the quantity button, and I immediately send everyone into panic mode because we're all sitting there in queue with one ticket quantity. I check out only buying my own ticket because I couldn't find the damn button. Kyle checks out only buying one ticket because he couldn't find the damn button. Then Ben, you get ahead and you're like, "Hey, dumbass, the quantity button is right here."
Abby found it finally because
okay.
she was ahead of me.
Gotcha. So Abby, it apparently was there, and I'm just an idiot.
She's just like, it's there on the side. I don't understand what is wrong with you guys. There's literally ticket quantity, and you changed the number. It was right there in the interface.
And I'm
I
so
looked over,
sorry.
I was like, yep, there it is.
I'm sitting there like, oh, I guess you're right. Oh, I didn't select that. Oh, there's no button. I didn't even look. Just taking Garrett's word for truth.
Yeah.
Yep, there's your problem right there.
But the moral of the story, or I guess the good thing is we got tickets. So we're all going, all of us.
Yes.
The three of us and all of our wives and girlfriends. Some of our girlfriends will be wives come BlizzCon. Crazy. Anyways, so we're all going, the entire This Week in Blizz crew, including our writer, Tash. He got a ticket. He's going.
Sweet.
So, hey, if you're a listener and you're going to the show in Anaheim, come find us. We'll also definitely be doing a This Week in Blizz, StarCast, A Move TV meetup. Probably the night before, like we did the last BlizzCon. We did a meetup at some bar in downtown Disney, and then we went bowling, and I used to be good.
Yeah, but that
I
bowling
wasn't
alley
then.
was badass. And hopefully this year you won't be sick.
Yes, well, I was just getting over being sick. Katie was just beginning to get sick. She was running a fever that entire weekend.
Oh, no good.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, that's why I couldn't stay long at the bowling. But this year, so help me God, we're going to take 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, getting on the plane, after the plane, and every day from there henceforth.
Be careful. Maybe mix something else in there. There's something called the C flush. Look it up. Be careful.
Oh, you just pee, but out what you don't use. Anyways.
I'm so glad we don't dispense medical advice on this show.
No, don't. No, don't do it. Anyways, follow us on Twitter at This Week in Blizz. Follow the StarCast. Most importantly, go to the starcast.com/forums because that will have all of the information on our meetups as we get closer to the convention date. So go over there, make an account. It's free. We don't spam you. Chat with us. We just added we're just adding a campaign roundtable section to that forum today. But there's a This Week in Blizz section, so go over there, chat, and stick around and wait for the information on the BlizzCon meetup. So that is very cool. Dude, I can't wait. You guys think we're going to see Titan this year?
No.
Everyone's saying so. They got a lot to announce, though. I mean, we're going to have some Legacy of the Void stuff at the very least, or things that didn't make it into Heart of the Swarm. Because there's what
was that, Ben?
Sorry, go ahead. I think we're going to see WoW expansion. We're going to see Diablo expansion.
We're definitely going to see WoW expansion. That's not even a doubt in my mind.
I'm sorry, Kyle. I didn't mean to talk over you. You had not finished that thought by any means.
Oh, yes. I just wanted to see all the stuff that didn't make it into the Heart of Swarm campaign, like the Hydras. Or not the Hydras, the Nidus Worms that were going to be all up in there. In fact, while looking through the book this past weekend, the Collector's Edition art book, there's a lot of stuff in there. And sadly, there is no Xel'Naga in that whole damn book, but because that was kind of the subplot of this one.
Yeah. Well, then you already saw it. Why would you want a panel of stuff you've already seen? Didn't they show the Niduses at the last BlizzCon we went to?
Mm-hmm, and they showed the bunker transforming into some sort of huge crawling beast that infested it.
Yep, and that never showed up anywhere.
That sounds awesome. I don't remember that at all.
It's on YouTube. You can type infested bunker. I'm sure you can find it. But yeah, good stuff.
Well, the thing about something like this is that it has to be edited down to its most core and quality components, right? I mean, sometimes you have something that's really cool that needs to be cut out simply because it just doesn't fit. And it's a shame in the end because there's so much cool stuff that gets cut out, but it makes for a better overall experience, I think.
Did you watch the last BlizzCon, though? Because it seemed like they were grasping for anything cool to show.
That's a good point.
They might have. They had really nothing except Mists of Pandaria.
Right, which is why they basically skipped out on doing one last year.
That, and they had a ton of games releasing.
Right, exactly. But this year, we're sort of all those games have been released.
Mm-hmm. So it's time to.
So it's now they're clearly working on what's next, and now it's time to inform us what that is. So I think we're going to see some hefty announcements.
Yep. Very excited. I'm curious. I'm down. I'm looking forward to the Burning Legion expansion.
You think that's what's going to be?
The what's his name, Prince dude, pretty much already told us that.
Sure.
Unless
but I mean, it could take on a very different flavor. You know what I mean? It could be it could be.
Yeah, we could just I don't know. There's so many outlands, so many different ways they could go.
There is.
Yeah. Anyways, let's save that talk for World of Warcraft. Let's get right into it. Oh, there was a live developer Q&A this on April 25th. We talked about this last week. This was this previous Thursday, and there is so much stuff. It's ridiculous how many questions they answered, and we've got quite a long list of truncated, interesting bits right here for you. But if you want to see the whole thing, you can head on over to mmochampion.com, and I believe they have something up on the official WoW site as well. So check it all out. We're going to talk about some highlights right here. First off, starting with some warrior stuff. The question was, why do warriors, Arms and Fury, still have moves that require shields and thus macros? You think a Master of Arms or a Raging Berserker could hit a fireball back like a baseball. Link could do it, damn it.
Yep, that sounds pretty awesome, actually.
Twitch Blizzard said, yes, I'm all for it. What I want is when I'm at full health and I swing my sword for energy beams to shoot out of them.
Yes.
Yeah, get on it. And green.
What?
That's what Link did. If we're talking about what Link could do when he was in A Link to the Past, when he was at full health and you swung your sword, an energy beam would shoot out.
Oh, I thought you were saying you wanted the Fierce Deity mask for free.
No, but that was also something the Fierce Deity did. But I think it was always so and not just at full life. I think he always shot the energy disc.
Yeah, I think you just needed magic for that one.
Yeah, it was just the mana, yeah. Anyways, Blizzard had this to say. They said shields are cool. We'd like to do more with them for paladins and shaman too. We agree that macros aren't an awesome way to handle shields. We'd rather do more with the base UI. Imagine you had a shield slot on your character panel, or a pane, even if you didn't have it out at the moment. Something along those lines. That'd be interesting. That'd be a cool way to tackle it. I'm all for that, man. As a fan of the tankin', I would like just a shield slot.
That works.
Yeah. Another question about item upgrades coming back next patch with the Thunderforge thing in TOT. It's really annoying to have to upgrade items that you might replace. They said that the major change we're making to item upgrades in 5.3 is drastically reducing their cost. We agree that it felt pretty bad to upgrade a non-Best in Slot item in 5.1 and then end up replacing it. 1,500 Valor was a pretty hefty investment, but at 250 Valor points per upgrade, you can realistically upgrade all your gear over the course of a tier, which should change things a bit. I like this. Yeah, I was about to say, I'm really pro this change, because I don't know about you, Ben, but I didn't use the item upgrade thing even once, because it was just such a waste of Valor, in my opinion.
I did a few times where there was clearly nothing that I could have upgraded in its place.
That's a good one.
But I used it very selectively and very sparingly. I like that how aggressively costed this is. It makes it much more worthwhile. Now it's actually a choice between the two.
Yeah. This one's interesting. I was really curious about this. They asked if there would be a final legendary weapon in Mists of Pandaria, or were we just going to get power through all the different kind of mini items we've been getting, to which they said, oh, hells yeah, which I'm very glad this was an official response. They said, you're getting a glorious orange item. Rathian is true to his word. The intent is that everyone will eventually be able to get them. Players who put in more effort will generally get them first. So, sweet. And I don't know, let's speculate. What do you think it's going to be? Weapons, armor?
Weapons, definitely weapons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wait, the question was
that's just the
legendary
coolest
weapon.
thing, right?
What? Right. Sorry, and the question specifically said, "Are we getting a final legendary weapon?"
Yeah.
So
So
we never
it'll
had
be
legendary armor, have we? So that was kind of a dumb question on my point.
yes,
Yeah, it's always been weapons.
yes, it was.
So yeah,
No, I mean, we've obviously had armor upgrades, which we've seen very recently. But in this case, the legendary weapon is just the coolest item you can have, right? I mean, it displays on almost everyone. Sorry, druids. But it looks incredible, and everybody has a frequently very cool looking one. And it's the biggest upgrade to you that you can get is like a weapon upgrade. So I think it's the most logical conclusion, and it's got the most flavor to it.
Okay. Our writer is in the chat room. He's saying that there was a legendary ring that was incredibly rare.
Oh, right.
Didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah, I think they actually took it out of the game.
Okay. Well, that would explain it. How odd.
Yeah.
To just have a little one-off like that.
It wasn't. I think it was accidental. I don't remember what the story is exactly. It's kind of weird.
I'll have to look that up. If you know about the story, write us thisweekinblizz@gmail.com. If you were the one guy that found it, we definitely want to talk to you.
It's on a Battle.net account out there somewhere. You can go to their armory page and see it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Someone out there somewhere has one. I don't think they've played in 3 years, but...
Well, why would you? If you find the one legendary ring, you become Sauron, and that's the end of that.
Exactly.
Really, Kyle? Nothing else on the subject of Lord of the Rings jokes? You disappoint me.
Nah, one ring, rule them all. Yeah, I gotcha.
He's just silently judging us from the corner.
Wonderful. On the subject of heroic scenarios, they asked, are there any differences between the normal and heroic difficulty of a scenario besides extra health and damage from mobs? And they said there are. There's unique bosses, trash abilities, and obviously the bonus objectives. So that's interesting. They're going to be adding
cool.
some
So
bosses.
it's actually whole new content.
Pretty much, yeah. We're getting new bosses. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like the scenario equivalent to Algalon.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite that hardcore.
Well, no,
More
that's the joke I'm trying to make. Is it's like a watered. It's like Algalon's not his badass little brother.
Sure, or you can compare it more to the difference between normal and heroic dungeons, where there's frequently a boss that was missing from the normal ones, or something like that.
What heroics was this? I can't.
Nexus.
Did Nexus have an extra boss?
Mm-hmm. He was normal on one of them, and he was.
Okay, yeah, you're right. The orc or human guard, depending on what faction you're playing.
Yeah, I guess it's not a very good example, but yeah.
Right, that's about the only one I can think of, actually.
Yeah, actually, now that I bring that up, it's kind of like, oh, wait, no, never mind.
Yeah. Man, we're really showing our noob cards on this week's episode.
Yep.
Or just it's been so damn long since I've done the older stuff. How many bosses will 5.4 have? They said that they're pretty happy with the overall size and epic feel of the Throne of Thunder raid. So, in that ballpark. Which is sweet.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, because I haven't even scratched the surface of Throne of Thunder.
What is that? That it would be 12 bosses, I think. 13, if you include Rodden.
Something like that. I recently swapped over to my Hunter, so I'm still having to go through older LFRs that I haven't done to even get in there. That's fun.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on Rathian? Is he a good guy or another Deathwing, but just a better manipulator? They said that maybe Rathian really has the best interests of the world at heart, or maybe Rathian's view of best interest doesn't sync up with our views. Dude's an enigma, man. That's a direct quote. I didn't make that. That's not my voice.
Yeah,
I love that. So, what do you guys think, Kyle? Well, you're the resident conspiracy nut. Do you think Rathian, the son of Deathwing, will screw us over, not screw us over, or screw us over unintentionally, thinking he's helping us?
Listen, if you had the lifespan of a dragon, you would probably spend a week planning what sandwich you were going to make.
That's a very good point.
And that's why bad guys enjoy a good laugh all the time, because they've planned this out forever. Everything is going as I have foreseen.
it's the long con, really. Right?
Exactly. The evil lich that lives in the tower and reads his books forever. I mean, he's planning something, but there's no need to hurry this along. And certainly with the world in the state that it is, why would he try to take over now?
Maybe he has to seize the chance now that the
Maybe
powers that be are in flux.
Maybe he needs us to deal with the Burning Legion first before he would have a chance to conquer.
That's true. Or he could just be waiting for us all to go to big badass war and then have that other faction step in, whatever the next expansion is. We're all saying Burning Legion. I certainly hope so. But
They've hinted pretty hard. And I mean, yeah. I will say he's done very little to reconcile the Horde and the Alliance.
Right.
He was basically more trying to suss out which one of them would win and go with them rather than...
True. I mean, at the same time, though, he is the only one that was just like, hey, I can see the future, and we're all going to die if you guys don't cut the shit out.
That's true.
God, mortals would be frustrating.
I know.
They
so
would.
Annoying. Oh my god.
They'd be like kids, always upstart. I could do this. No. And you're like, shut up. You have no power. You've been alive for what, 40 years?
You know how long I have been on this world? Do you know the crap I've seen?
Yep.
Man. You think Meta was great? The guy was an idiot.
You humans. Ugh.
Enjoyed
kicking open doors.
Indeed. Next question. A fear many Alliance players have is that everything that the Horde has done to the faction up until this point will be laid on Garrosh and all will be forgiven. Can we safely assume that this will not be the case? To the Alliance, the Horde has a lot to answer for without Hellscream.
What an awesome question.
Yes, I love this kind of stuff. Blizz said, how should we depict Alliance justice without deleting a bunch of old zone content, as in removing Horde incursions into, say, Ashen Vale? This is Tash's question. Or sorry, as in removing Horde incursions into, say, Ashen Vale was specifically Tash. Obviously, that's what they meant by kind of deleting a bunch of old zone content. They said, also, we still need to make sure a Horde exists after Garrosh falls, because, they're half our players. But certainly going forward into the next expansion, we can carry forward the themes of the Horde trying to rebuild itself from an absolutely terrible war, and the Alliance, a unified, victorious juggernaut, taking the initiative into the challenges that lie ahead. Orgrimmar is going to be a bloodbath. That excites me to no end. Oh man, yes. Tash, awesome. Who is also lurking in the chat room, said it best: 2 factions enter, 1 faction leaves.
Yep.
In the Horde Thunderdome, who runs Bartertown?
Oh man, that's a great. That's the code for money in StarCraft 2.
Oh,
Who runs Bartertown?
that is still. I don't. I know.
Is it really?
I know we disagree on this, Kyle, but that is my favorite Mad Max movie.
Oh, the kids. I'm okay till the kids, but
I'll give you that. If they cut that out entirely, it'd be much better. But the Thunderdome, man, the Thunderdome, it's so good. Any comments, by the way? This is a big, juicy lore bit. What are your guys' thoughts on the idea of Orgrimmar just being reduced to ash, almost, it sounds like?
I want to see a new faction capital.
You want to see the Horde be like, listen, we're beyond desert dwellers at this point.
Sure.
oh, you mean out of the ashes, like we keep Orgrimmar, but instead we stage things out maybe at the Troll Island?
Yeah. Huh? That could
Fortify that baby up. I mean, and as a troll player, that's what I'm most interested in, is that identity, and with Vol'jin coming back into the fray, what that's going to mean, because we're lacking identity right now, and we have all these evil, badass trolls running around the world, and why am I stuck as Spindly Man number 2?
Right, exactly. Especially when the trolls are coming from a place of being essentially homeless at one point, to very, very slowly grabbing back the land that was theirs, to now being in a position where the next war chief could easily be a troll.
I am calling it now. It's going to be a troll.
You think so?
They're doing a novel about him. You don't write a novel about a character if you're going to put him back on the sideline.
That's a good point.
I would also like to see the Taurens come into their own again. I feel like
I think they will.
the blow that was left by Cain Bloodhoof dying was just, I feel like that character, because it was the Tauren identity in Warcraft 3, they lost a lot of themselves.
Oh, totally.
I mean, I don't think I'll ever see the Tauren as the lead race of the Horde, though. They definitely have this, kind of outlier spirit.
But, I mean, that's Druids. You wouldn't want Night Elves to take over either. They'd all just start planting stuff and never go to war.
True. That's a very good point. Unless it was, who was the jerk that used to...
Illidan?
Wanted to run. No, not Illidan. It was he ended up being a boss in the Firelands. Oh, my brain has escaped. Staghelm, yes. He would have been an interesting leader. He definitely had the spirit, but he was just a vindictive, evil mess of elf.
Yep.
So,
But I think somebody like Vol'jin has the sort of... He's got a nice mix of cunning and the political acumen to back him up. Plus, he's got a long, rich history in that world. Nobody would be... Like, who's this guy?
Since it's the Horde, he's also a proven warrior, which is something any leader of the Horde would have to be. Whereas, I think Karen is still a little, green.
And no matter how small it is, Vol'jin also has some clout with, what is Garrosh's race?
The Orc?
Korkron?
Yeah,
No,
because
he's not Korkron.
No, Vol'jin isn't, but you ran around with the Beastmaster in the Warcraft 3 side mission that was like the pre-World of Warcraft.
They're the original orcs. They're the uncorrupted.
Yeah, so he's got clout with them, and he's got clout with Chen from his adventures.
Right.
Yep.
Basically everyone. Everyone who's good on the Horde side.
I could even
and is
see...
not evil and psychotic.
I could even see Vol'jin giving his best at tea time with Proudmoore.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay.
I could definitely see that.
All
I
right.
think Proudmoore's tea time has certainly changed with the recent content. I think it is no longer as civilized as it used to be.
Oh, with Jaina?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it's tea time with her. I think it's like, I don't even know, slam down some tequila and get to work.
Yeah, now maybe.
Yeah.
But I could, we were a while ago. We were talking about who would land the killing blow on Garrosh, and I could definitely see him being an option.
Vol'jin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he told
It
there was
one
a
of
lot
those.
There's a lot of foreshadowing going on in the beginning of Cataclysm.
That scene in StarCraft 2 where if you don't pick Nova's mission, but the other guy, what's his name?
Tosh.
Tosh, right? And after you finish it, and he appears behind her and slits her throat.
No, you're thinking the other way around. If you pick
Oh, am
Nova,
I?
she slits his throat. There's no
shame.
ending where you kill Nova.
Yeah, you're right, because she's in the next game.
Yeah.
But, sorry, in reverse, something like that. Like, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
exactly.
He's that kind of character.
Yep. It's just like,
I just transposed Tosh on there. I don't know why. It's probably because of the whole accent and sounding like a troll.
I feel you, man. Slice.
Exactly. Like, you could just take the same voice actor and just put him in there, and like have the exact same lines, and he'd probably be fine.
Yeah. Anyways, another question: is there going to continue to be more story development involving more of the female world leaders, quest NPCs, and such? Pandaria gave us people like Suna and Taushi, but we also have Illyria, Tyrande, Moira, etc. They said that feedback from 5.1 shows that not everyone was happy with Tyrande being so hot-headed.
Tyrande, dude. Tyrande.
I'm sorry. When did they say her friggin' name?
No, it's the night elf lady on the thing.
Yeah, I know. I've always pronounced it Tyrande. I don't know. Okay.
Oh, really? I had never thought about that.
What
Maybe I'm
effing name? What name out there did you pronounce the E that's on the end? Give me one example.
I don't know. Maybe I've been pronouncing it wrong all these years.
You're probably right because it sounds more Blizzard-like, but I'm just saying. Anyways, they said we're trying to get her a little back to her impulsive Warcraft 3 roots, but it doesn't seem to have played well with fans, so I'd like to revisit Tyrande at some point. Now, Sylvanas? Up to something, I guarantee. That's the killer from this answer that I'm very excited about, because I have had a very sad lack of Sylvanas in my Warcraft lately.
There's none.
She got a big old parade, though, in Frozen Throne.
Not really.
Yeah.
By big old parade, but at least, center stage for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and you know, the invasion of the Undercity, the whole entire Forsaken thing happening.
Yeah, but that was, what was that guy's name? Putris? That was really more his big parade, the invasion of the Undercity.
I could totally see that whole thing being engineered by her.
Could you?
Sure.
I think
she's
if
super devious.
they've gone this long without addressing it, I don't think it's her plan.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it probably wasn't. But I'm just saying it wouldn't feel out of place, especially considering how devious she is and using the plague.
Right.
Yeah. If you go to the Worgen starting area and stuff, like you hear continuing like bits, and there's sort of a overall kind of treacherous nature about her.
Oh, well, she's sitting in a really weird place because the Forsaken are the allied dead people of the Scourge that happen to wake up and live again and be all right, and no longer under the control of the Lich King, now under the Banshee Queen or Free Spirited. They have to get soldiers somewhere, and if the Lich King's not making soldiers that are accidentally turned into her side, where's she getting them?
Well, she has
Valkyries.
Arthas's Valkyries and the Valkyrs, and she has the remaining fragments of Frostmourne.
Yeah,
So she basically,
She's the new Lich
she
King.
took over Arthas's cartel. Well, not technically.
Right, there is a Lich King, but I'm saying like she took a lot of his more interesting powers and are now wielding them with her own free will.
Yep.
Which is so funny because in Warcraft 3 they gave her like plain ass Banshee model. Because it was like, in this level you unlock Banshees. Hooray! One of them's named Sylvanas. Big deal. Come the expansion. Yeah. Whoa, wait a minute. New model and everything.
Yeah, but you can always see when Blizzard underestimates a character because they start off as a really boring character model and eventually they get the proper treatment.
Oh, that's true. Well, look at the relationship interviews for Mass Effect 3 when they had Garrus and Tali. They had no idea people were going to love them so much. So they sat down to make game number 2 and went, so what do we do with these guys? Because they were throwaways. We didn't mean this to happen. Everyone's in love.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
That's really funny. But I see her coming in at the 11th hour and somehow attempting to mess things up.
Well,
to her advantage, whatever it may be.
Trying to seize control of the throne.
Sure, something like that. Like, seceding from the rest of the Horde. I don't know.
I could see succession more than trying to take control because I don't see her as someone who has any interest in like ruling over other races.
No, the real
No,
interesting part is going to be in that throne room. Whoever is crowned the new war chief, her having to deliver herself there, present herself. It's going to be a real interesting conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Any news on the character model updates for the old races? They said that sound you hear is Chris Robinson, our art director, going door to door, trying to find what room we are doing this interview in, so he can do me great harm for even considering answering this question. This has got to be such a bigger pain in the ass than we think.
It must be, right?
Because I'm assuming it has to do with mapping all of the armor in the game to new models.
Oh god,
That's the only thing I can think of. Because I remember the first BlizzCon I went to, it was right after StarCraft 2 had been launched, and people so it was during some Q&A somewhere, and someone asked like, well, what's the most grueling task at Blizzard? And I forget the guy's name, but the guy who answered said, if you see so and so, ask him about designing cliffs in StarCraft 2.
Oh, jeez.
Apparently, there was no more of a ridiculous, soul-crushing task than it was to try and figure out a tile set of cliffs that fit together in corners.
Oh, I absolutely believe it.
Yeah, and it has to work on diagonals, and oh man, apparently it was rough. I would love to interview the guy who did the cliffs for StarCraft 2.
One of the biggest things, too, is that you try and prevent a repeating pattern, because otherwise it looks very unnatural. And that's really hard.
Yeah.
Stupid brains spending all those years evolving, looking for fruit, making sure we didn't eat the wrong things. Now we can't even look at art without criticizing it.
Well, you're right.
All this pattern recognition is the worst.
Kyle probably ends every show, turns off Skype, and just goes, I am so sick to death of doing a podcast with two effing artists. Any plans to make the LFR queuing system allow you to queue to more than one at a time? Yes, but not for 5.3. Oh. This will be nice, though. Will there be a spectator mode added to pet battles? Yes, in 5.3. Cool. This has been an unannounced feature, so it's cool that they were just like, yeah, it's coming. Do you feel that delivering the reputation-based story quest as in 5.1 was a success, and will it be used again? They said, we got a very positive response to the way 5.1 story quests rolled out over time as you did dailies. It was pretty time-consuming from a development standpoint, but was totally worth it, as opposed to, for example, adding 40 new randomized blue bangs. Blue bangs instead? What's a blue bang?
Bags?
Blue bags? I don't know. Anyway, they said expect to see more like that in the future.
Maybe that's like the blue quest, repeatable quest. They call them bangs down there. Hey, you finished the bang? Yeah, did the bang? You programmed that bang? Yeah, let's have bang party tonight.
I banged the shit out that bang. I don't know.
Okay, that took a weird turn.
Maybe
bang right.
Moving on.
Bangarang.
It's their inside parlance.
Yeah, this next one I'm a fan of. I love the epic feeling to the pre-Lich King World event where you were involved in it for as much or as little time as you wanted. Is there any plan to bring world events like that back instead of the one-shot 15-minute events that currently seem to be happening? They said a lot of players have responded that they really miss some kind of big world event. We were a little surprised by how frequently we heard that, so we'll definitely try to work in something epic in the future. When it comes down to it, we'd rather invest our time in something players will play for months than for days, which is why it became a much lower priority this time.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
I see it. But it's cool that they've recognized that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of power, though, to saying you missed it. And it's a real sad thing to be told, but when you're building a living world, you're going to miss out on things. You can't be everywhere at once.
I always kind of liked the you missed it aspect of MMOs. I always think some of the coolest stuff they do is the stuff that's fleeting and happens once.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because it gives that air of a living world. Whereas, and don't get me wrong, I think the storytelling aspect has been such a vast improvement in this expansion. I think if there's one thing we take away from this expansion is that Blizzard has really nailed telling a story in MMO. I really dig that. But at the same time, the fact that I can replay that story over and over again on the same character via things like scenarios and whatnot, it kind of cheapens the event. But at the same, they're doing a good balancing act. I'm already backpedaling because I'm thinking of the one-off single-person scenarios on the Isle of Thunder, which I think is brilliantly well done.
Yeah, that's the hard part, is they already had this defined for an MMO, but then after adding things like LFR and looking for group where you can teleport instantly between all these different worlds, portals and main cities, you need to completely redefine that for the new technological World of Warcraft.
Yeah. But that being said, yes, I too missed... I missed the kind of world event. I remember how much we were really kind of bitching up a storm when the pre-Pandaria thing happened, and all we had was that really kind of lackluster scenario.
Yeah.
And some
I
pandas
remember
hanging
that.
out in main towns.
Scenarios are literally the worst thing that they've ever done in this game.
I still think it's the least interesting thing that's come in Pandaria, which means that the expansion is phenomenal. It's my favorite expansion since Wrath of the Lich King. But yeah,
There's only been one in between, but yes.
Well, Cataclysm was so crappy
That's true.
that it made Lich King feel like forever ago. So I really liked Burning Crusade a lot too. So that was kind of my golden days. It was when I first started raiding and all that stuff. So I look back on BC very fondly.
Everything was fresh and new and different.
Yeah, man, I'll never forget walking through the Dark Portal for the first time. Just being like, oh my freaking god.
Yeah, well, they set standards, and they've been the only one to compete with their own standards, truly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Remember that Star Wars MMO we were all so excited about? You guys still playing that? Yeah. Yeah, no one's still playing that.
It's because every time you log in, you have to be faced with cartel bucks 100 times.
Ugh.
It looks dirty in my opinion now, but oh well, story was fun.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a BioWare game, but that was about it.
Yep. I hit.
It's
max
true
level.
how much something like a in-your-face microtransaction really cheapens your experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've been playing as the free to play, right?
No, I played as the paid version.
Oh, okay. Then there really aren't any microtransactions.
I had the
Except it keeps putting it in your face. It's kind of like, hey, when you like log in on the sidebar, it's like, I haven't played in forever.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's like, you should buy this sweet looking thing, you know.
Gotcha. That wasn't in there when I played. I played at the get-go before they was even a free.
Maybe I'm
model.
confusing the two. That could well be too. But
Well,
I remember there's a bunch of different ways to like spend real money in it.
Yeah, I played a month ago, so I've seen it, and it sucks because you bought the game, so you're like floating in this weird like half free mode where you have some of the features but not all the features.
It's very weird. Yeah, it's
because I paid for the game at full price when it came out, but now you can still pay for subscriptions. So you can get like cartel bucks weekly, and then you have turn off your helm abilities, but.
I mean, if you're gonna play that game, it is still. I would definitely recommend the story because it's a sweet BioWare story, with the exception of your run-of-the-mill filler MMO quests.
There's quite a few of those.
Yeah, but the base story is awesome. But yeah, the paid is still the route to go because there's so much crap you don't have access to, and you don't pay the monthly fee.
Oh yeah. It's stuff like run speed, like.
It's like total quality of life, or bank space, or
there's
bag
no way
space.
I'm doing this without.
Yeah, or I got a bunch of badass titles I logged in. Can't access any of them unless I pay or like do like little microtransactions to unlock specific. It's so weird. It's so shoehorned.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to an
bad.
MMO I still enjoy playing. One of the major complaints about the final Cataclysm raid was the lack of new environments. How do you plan to avoid this problem in the Siege of Orgrimmar? They said, lesson learned. You can plan on seeing new environments in the 5.4 raid for sure, along with Orgrimmar. So, there you go.
I have a feeling it might look pretty different. I mean, Orgrimmar's been through a few facelifts, once they burn it to the ground, it'll look pretty different again, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, could you imagine an Orgrimmar with tons of toppled towers and fire and rubble everywhere?
Oh, yeah.
You could really transform the landscape if you wanted to.
Exactly. And also, I mean, there's probably parts of Orgrimmar that we don't normally see.
Yep, and I bet you it'll be like Shaw-touched areas.
That would be sweet.
Yeah. Possessed Orgrimmar.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to me. Question, will the Baron's quests interfere with the leveling process in the area? They said, nope, it doesn't impact the leveling content, and low-level players are neutral with the Corcoran, who consider you beneath them. You're welcome to try to take one out, though. Okay, so it looks like there'll be an occupied Orgrimmar.
It seems like it.
Yeah, so are they really going to, like, if you're level 90, you're kicked out of Orgrimmar, you're going to have to use the other capitals, it sounds like?
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, or Razor Hill and the island, the Troll Island's going to become the new...
That's what I'm saying. Like,
staging
something like
areas.
the Troll Island could definitely become more built up and become a competitor.
I'm so
Right.
excited for 5.4. The problem is they've talked so much about it that I'm just like I'm not that interested in the Throne of Thunder raid. It looks gorgeous, and I haven't done it yet, so there's not a whole lot I can say. But I'm just like I just want to take the fight to Orgrimmar. I want this faction war
Yep.
because this is the part of Warcraft that gets me excited.
Yep.
Anyways,
It
another
looks
question. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Another question on the subject of races, playable races. They said, I really want to see Naga as a playable race, but every time I ask if there ever will be, I always get non-yes or no answers that just leave me hanging. So do you think Naga could ever be a playable race? Yes or no? The answer could? Yes. They are cool. It would present some unique challenges, such as a lack of pants.
Okay.
I don't know. Something about serpentine races I would have no interest in playing.
Oh, you kidding me? I would totally roll one.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. You want to
As a novel thing.
you're essentially a tail with arms. You realize this?
Yeah, and it'll be totally sweet.
Okay.
Increased swim speed will be great.
I guess I'm missing something here. And then
It just feels like it could be much more badass. That's all. How does your legs make you dramatically more unique and cool?
I don't know. Just the way the way fighting works. Like I find fighting poses and animations cooler when there's appendages involved. When you're just a cylinder that wiggles.
Yeah.
I find it less
You're not giving the
aesthetically pleasing.
animators at Blizzard enough credit. They could make it very cool. I have no doubt.
Okay. All right. Artist fights go. Kyle, weigh in on the fight.
I want to be a crypt fiend.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you
That
want
would be even harder. You'd need
Then
like
I could wear
3
three
sets
pairs
pants.
of pants. Yeah.
and 8 boots.
Ben knows where I'm at.
Yeah. It sucks for drops. Oh, great! Another chest piece. I don't need this. I need more pants.
8 pant slots.
Hey, for me, the more monster like, the better. So, I remember playing. Again, I keep talking about Warcraft 3 today. Jeez. But Frozen Throne. There was a whole. They designed everything. They had a race building. Illidan controlled them, but there was even some levels where you actually built Naga out of that race building, and in the end, it was still only 4 races to choose from in the multiplayer.
Yeah. Sorry, Kyle.
But who wanted dragon turtles?
I do. No, not at all.
Sentient turtles.
I wouldn't mind being like I would like to see their take on like you've got the ancients, the trees. I know they're if you're a druid you can be a tree, but I'd like to see a vegetation based race. I think that'd be interesting.
That's a stretch. It's so hard to empathize with.
True.
I want to see Nerubians.
Okay, well that's pretty much a crypt fiend.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as an empire,
Yeah.
I like the Nerubians.
Yeah. Patch 5.3 is starting to show up on the background downloader. Don't get excited though, because this has happened
5.4 that we've been talking about it. This is 5.3.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, just so you guys are aware, this is 5.3 and not 5.4. 5.4 has a rating that 5.3 does not.
Right, exactly. 5.3.
Just so you guys are...
5.3 does have a new daily area, though, that's leading up to the raid.
Oh, sure.
5.4.
Totally. But we're not getting the raid content, is what I'm saying.
Right. But also, it's probably not going to be for quite a few weeks, because this stuff shows up quite early in the past. Manaflask posted interviews with both Paragon and Method this past week. This is in the wake of their clearing of Throne of Thunder on heroic difficulty. Some of the interesting points that were mentioned, they felt that the tier was reasonably long. They would have liked it, however, to be longer.
Don't they always? I mean...
So what do you want, man? 20 bosses?
Yeah?
What are the rest of us going to do? The rest of us who aren't sponsored to be awesome Warcraft players.
Yeah. But I mean, that's... Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a non-complaint.
Yeah. They all kind of unanimously agreed that the Throne of Thunder is one of the best raids ever produced.
That's saying something.
Yeah, the talk around the water cooler seems to be like everyone's like, this is like the second coming of Old War. So
there's a lot of cool fights in there with a lot of neat mechanics that aren't just annoying.
Yeah, unless you're our raid.
The
first night going in there, man, that was rough.
It was like, we are not geared enough for this.
Hey guys, we can take out the first boss. Yeah, wipe on trash, finally get the boss. Run away with our tail between our legs. We need more gear.
Yeah, help.
It was fun nonetheless.
Yeah.
They said the boss tuning was well done in this tier, with the exception of the twin consorts, which was apparently hotfixed. Bigger. They said that Rodden was significantly easier than Li Shen and really was a bonus boss rather than the final boss of the tier. I mean, this happens on a lot of raids. You remember ICC, Ben? I thought Sindragosa was harder than Lich King.
I think Sindragosa is not necessarily harder than Lich King, but a huge hurdle compared to previous content, to the point where I feel like once you kill Sindragosa, that was such a massive difficulty step up and takes so long that Lich King is not dramatically different from that. I will also say that, Lich King was actually the final boss, as opposed to here, where Lei Shen is actually the final boss. And then, there's kind of this, Radan is kind of this Algalon style extra boss.
Yeah, well, Algalon was pretty difficult.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sure Radan
absolutely.
is too, by our standards.
Yeah.
But, yeah, still interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, Method rated 14 to 16 hours a day during much of this progression. That is insane.
It's long.
And here Ben and I were complaining about a 5-hour Magic tournament at the top of the show.
Yeah.
It's also not your day job.
No.
I don't think it's these people's either.
I think Method and Paragon have sponsors.
Yeah, maybe, but come on, let's be clear. They're not sponsoring 25 people to do this full time.
That's a good point. It's a very good point.
Hell, it's more than that. It's probably like 30 or 40 people, right? For all the different support stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And, no. These people have day jobs. They just find jobs where they can disappear for a few days.
Yeah. Anyways, you can find those full interviews over at manaflask.com. And it is time to talk a little StarCraft. Upcoming balance test map is on the horizon. David Kim posted a preview of an announcement of possible changes to the Heart of the Swarm balance that will be tested via a balance test map in a couple of weeks. They want to address the dominance of Ling/Muta ZVZ strategy, possibly via increasing the plus bio damage from spore crawlers, although they would prefer to see infestors come into play more in Muta battles, or see a shift toward more ground-based strategies. In addition, they are also considering a movement speed increase to oracles and a reduction to the cost and or research time to burrow. We talked about this at some length on StarCast this past week, but Ben, what are your thoughts on this?
I am looking forward to, as exciting as Muta versus Muta is, I would like to see something a little different.
Are you being, like, sarcastic? Because I don't.
Well,
personally don't find Muta versus Muta that interesting.
It's very volatile.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay sometimes, and it's kind of interesting to see decisions and how they affect like one specific battle, and then that defines the entire game. But I would like to see some more variety. Yeah. And I think it benefits certain players way more than others. And I'd like to see I never would have thought this, but the Infestor to make a little bit of a comeback.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously don't buff them to the point where we're seeing 40 Infestors out on the field.
Right. But a little bit more would be good. Or maybe, I don't know, nerf Muta a little more. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the problem is if you nerf the Muta, then you're nerfing it across all three
matchups. It's all bad. It's all bad.
It's rough. That's why the Spore Crawler is the first way to go. One of the things, Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, suggested by a lot of players was, increase the plus to bio or whatever, the anti-air for Hydra.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been real popular.
Yeah, and Blizzard's like, listen, that would kind of upset the balance in the other matchups. So, unless it was just a bio, but then that would be kind of a weird... I don't know. I mean, they're doing a spore crawler, so why can't they do it with the Hydra? But
To quote David Kim, to quote Tasteless talking about David Kim saying he's got the hardest job in the world. Take that, Obama.
Oh, I hope that's an SC2
because
quote of the
that's and I completely agree with him. Like, this is an excruciating position to be in, and every tiny little change has massive implications across everything. Good luck. I hope they figure it out. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Yeah, it's rough. Kyle, as the resident Zerg, any closing thoughts on that?
I don't want to see the anti-air, mainly because the things I go up against, I want to keep seeing them. Like, if someone gets out Colossi versus my Mass Hydra, I should die. And that thing counts as air. If someone actually has the gumption to get out some battle cruisers and fly over to my base, hell yeah, I want to die. So, Hydroless anti-air, not the answer. I really like the idea of the spore crawlers doing splash damage into the air, but I feel like if we keep going down this road, we're going to be in this weird, like, then Zealots are doing bonus against shields so that PvP can have some, and Marines have anti-bullet armor, and, like, then suddenly we have the 3 matchups, and they're mirror matchups, completely different.
Right. So you're saying it just gets way too granular. You start making these super specific changes that only affect like one matchup, and then over time you just end up with all these like weird permutations of stuff.
Yeah, to where
exactly.
And especially imagine you're a new player coming in. It's just like, well, why does the spore crawler have plus to bio?
So wait, this
but
does
the
damage to
turret
shields?
doesn't? Yeah,
That's the thing. And with
point.
things like roaches shooting acid, and they don't do any bonus damage, but banelings, that's the one that counts. So the banelings, acid lands on them, and the light units go, ah, and you're like, oh, the acid light, they're not armored. That makes sense. And you just don't want that many rules because, God, that's the worst. I mean, you guys were just at a Magic tournament. You know this. Make sure you never always draft this card unless you see this card, then you'll get this, but not that.
Right. It's great if you have this other card. Otherwise, it's terrible. What? It's literally the worst card in the format. I'm just saying.
Or like Ben, you put 2 cards in there not expecting a good combo, but got an awesome combo that won you a couple games.
Unblockable.
Like, who knew?
Flying hexproof plus lifelink is good, I hear.
Yeah. Plus, that was one of the heaviest.
It won me like 2 games. It was crazy.
Plus, wasn't that flyer base like 3/5? I mean, that's a pretty strong flyer already.
Yeah, there's a it's called Ascended Lawmage. It's a 3/5 blue-white.
Yeah.
Blue-white colorless flyer, and it's hexproof. And then there's a new version of Armadillo Cloak, which is +2/+2 plus lifelink. And slapping all your enchants on that guy because nobody can kill him. It's great.
It's absurd. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm not looking. The bottom line is I'm not looking forward to Ben and I's next friendly game of Magic. This will get very unfriendly very fast. The 2013 Season 3 is now locked, and Blizzard has announced their changes to the map pool for the next season. Wait, 2013? It's just Season 3 since whatever.
Yes.
3 1v1 maps and 2 2v2 maps will be replaced. The 1v1 maps being replaced are Daybreak, Newkirk Precinct, and Core Hall City. New to the 1v1 map development this time is, and they quote, "Once we decided which maps would be included in the pool, we sent them over to an array of major tournament organizers for review, including GomeTV, OnGameNet, Caspa, ESL, MLG, DreamHack, and NASL. Based on their feedback, we implemented a variety of suggested changes and tagged each map that underwent this process as Tournament Edition, or TE for short. If this experiment works out well this season, we'll continue to iterate and improve on it going forward."
Yes, sweet.
Yes, please, more, and yes.
Stuff
we're getting some cool
never
ones.
again be a thing.
Yeah.
We're getting a new Protoss tile set map in the kind of flying station. Looks like the Taj Mahal sitting in the middle of it. But you gotta love the mine here. That's just the Baneling pools from the campaign redone for a nice 1v1 map.
Yeah.
They do look sweet.
Yeah, it's good stuff. In other news, I guess you can file this under interesting, according to our writer, and turn your ears on, protest players. This is quite a dirty little trek. Reddit user A Giant Smurf confirmed an interesting effect of the Oracle's Revelation ability this past week. If a unit has the revealed effect applied to them using the Oracle's Revelation ability, and then said unit is loaded into a medevac, the Protoss player will have vision of the medevac for as long as the revealed unit is loaded. Awesome. Also, I play Terran. Not awesome. Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm assuming this works for other drops too.
Yeah, being loaded into an Overlord, being loaded into a Warp Prism. Anything. If your unit is contained within something, you will have vision. I wonder how this works for Nidus Worms.
Or
Not that it would be all that helpful, because it wouldn't transport until it's coming out of the worm. I wouldn't think.
I guess.
Still.
Or does it count for Warp Prisms where it get transformed into energy?
No, because the
don't
unit
think
didn't
it's that
exist. The unit didn't exist until it started warping. If it was a unit,
You realize you can move units around in a Warp Prism, right? You know that you can do that in the game.
What do you mean? It functions as a drop ship.
Yes.
Yes, that's fine. You said warping in.
No, sorry. I was just saying in the Warp Prism. Like if you put a unit into it.
Yes.
Okay, it works that way too. Because you get turned into energy when you're in the Warp Prism, according to lore.
Okay, but it still counts as a
You're
slot.
stored as digital data.
It shows a unit
I'm just
slot. So you're just being difficult for the sake of being difficult.
Maybe, I just don't know. Maybe they were being that granular about it.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure if it's a drop ship, you'll be able to follow it.
It's like the Prestige. There's just piles of dead zealots hanging out in some pit under the stage every time the Warp Prism goes away.
I wasn't sure where you were going with this. I'm like, is he talking about the movie The Prestige? Yes, he is. All right, good to know. Thanks, Kyle. Anywho, that file is that ends this week's StarCraft. So go revelate upon many drop units and watch those drops coming in. Protoss.
Yeah, look at these new maps. I've been studying them while we've been talking about this, and some of them are kind of interesting. The Clontus Meyer one looks really cool.
Clontus Meyer. Oh, okay. Let's take a look at this. Huh.
So I'm assuming the two bases are top left and top right.
Yeah. Or no, possibly middle.
No, wait, not with the giant
oh,
maps.
yeah, those maps. But then it has the back rock, two destructible rocks. Weird.
Yeah, but that's for the middle bases, right?
Right.
So that'll be the third or the fourth, possibly. But what I like is the tiny little path that goes across.
Ooh.
I do wonder if that's occupiable.
I think it must be. Look at it.
It has to be.
I'm wondering if something like a Thor can't fit through there, but Lings can.
Oh, I couldn't remember the name. What was that? Garrett, do you remember by chance? The awful Y-shaped map that had the destructible rocks that connected the Y into kind of upside down A.
Oh, that was something Starship.
No. Atlantis Starship? No.
No, it was...
It was a different one. It was, it was there in, like, the very
It was
first
very beginning. It was before we had tournament-made maps. They were all Blizzard-made maps. Oh, I had some epic TVTs on that, because it was, like, prime game for liftoff at the beginning of the game cheese. Like, you just lift off, land at the goal.
I will build my factory literally in your base and make Hellions.
Yeah, oh man, that was such a ridiculous map.
Yeah, it was air or nothing.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but whatever the case.
It's sort of vaguely reminiscent of that, but the big difference is that it's not all space in between them. Yeah. It's not like, so there's a whole lot of area that is actually ground in front of it. So it just makes for an interesting dynamic. And I like the fact that the short distance is not actually destructible rocks, right? Because that's how we've seen it handled in a lot of other places.
Yeah, it just looks like it's an incredibly narrow passageway, which means that early aggression is warranted, but late aggression would be kind of hard with large armies or large units.
Right, but even attacking into it with Lings might be seriously difficult, whereas if you have a cluster of Marines, it might be really good to micro in.
Oh yeah, because you can attack over it, and you can set up siege lines, and you could probably block it off with what looks like one damn depot.
Yeah, and I like the way that there's those holes in there to protect the natural. I really like this map.
Yeah, it looks cool. That being said, we haven't played on it yet, so it might suck.
I hate this map. It's awful.
Yeah, but hey, if all the tournaments seem to be in agreement, it bodes well for it.
Mm-hmm. And we got another map without Xel'Naga towers.
Yes. Actually, none of them. Actually, no, that's not true. The Protoss one has them.
I hate no Xel'Naga towers.
Yeah, me too. But
It's become such a staple of the game now. I find it very odd to not have
Actually,
them.
yeah, that green one that we're looking at is the only one without. All the other ones have them.
Gotcha. All right. Well, it'll be interesting. Ben, I will challenge you to a duel upon that map when it goes live.
Yep.
All right. That does it for StarCraft. Let's talk a little Diablo. A forum member over at DiabloFans.com spotted a poster at GameStop this past week showing some info on the Infernal Helm, which apparently is a perk of pre-ordering the console version of Diablo 3, and it's an in-game item you get, and it gives you extra experience.
Okay.
I want this on the PC version because I'm not...
So do half the items in the game right now give you extra experience? I mean...
Oh, well, I don't have them.
Okay, but I mean it's just an affix. Like you can just get it instead of.
yeah, it's a pretty common thing, much like bonus to gold drop or pickup radius. So it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, getting it in the start chest is a bit more, but I mean, once you go through the game, once you get into like hell and all that, not the level like actual hell mode difficulty, you're almost 60 anyway. And
yeah, I imagine this thing will be sort of vaguely useful in the beginning and rapidly get replaced.
That's a good point. I'd be curious. Because if it doesn't scale with leveling, it's going to be really useless really fast.
Well, it takes some time to find a good helm.
It is.
That's a good point.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. So for the first 20, 30 levels or whatever, you don't have one.
Huh. All right. So that's kind of cool. That's
Yeah,
like,
but it's not. Yeah,
it's like starting a new WoW character with heirlooms.
sure, a little bit. I imagine it will be a whole lot less impact though.
True.
Yeah, I think it's more of a.
Now, we're not going to have cross-platform
No.
play, right?
Not that I know of.
We're not going to. Are the console or Xbox going to be able to play a PlayStation at least?
Is there another console version? Is there like an Xbox version of this coming out?
Is there just PlayStation? I thought there was an Xbox version.
I don't know.
No, it's only PS3.
Oh, weird. Very weird. Well, and PS4.
Well-
PS4 is also confirmed.
Yeah, and that's the thing is we are, as consumers, slowly learning how good the PS4 is actually going to be for developers, and how much of a bitch apparently working with Microsoft and Xbox has been in the past.
No, it's the exact opposite. Working with Sony in the past has been terrible, and working with Microsoft has been wonderful. Now it's looking like it's flopping.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Is that I think that has a lot to do with the seduction of Blizzard going into consoles here.
Yeah. And then there's Nintendo.
Yeah,
You want to talk
well-
about Nintendo real quick? No, let's not. I love my
Okay.
3DS. I have no interest in getting a Wii U.
Nope.
No.
Different crowd.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Ben?
I don't remember.
Oh, it sounded like you were about to unleash some insight.
Some sweet insight.
Yeah.
No, I got nothing.
Oh, okay.
But well, we still don't know what the new Xbox looks like, so
Or even what it's called.
Everybody's speculating wildly.
It could be called a Y box for all we know.
Yeah. God, I hope not.
And Blastbot in the chat room. Blizzard on consoles? Will we finally get StarCraft Ghost? No. Not going to happen.
Why
cool
you
as that
want
would
it?
be.
Have
I
you,
want a third-person StarCraft game. So
Have you guys seen the screenshots from Ghost? Like, it did not look like a very good game.
at the
Well, back
time,
in the
it looked
day, yeah.
amazing.
No, I know, but even like no, I think that was wishful thinking. It didn't look terribly.
No, it's all about scale.
I truly
much
think you're
like
s-
World, much like World of Warcraft was.
Yes. Yeah, I think you're crazy, man. I think at the time it looked wonderful.
Yeah, I mean,
I still go back and look at the screenshots, and I think that would have been a cool game to play. It would have been
Yeah.
awesome to see an Ultralisk at full size.
I'm not denying the fact that a sweet third-person shooter in the StarCraft universe would be great. I just don't think that game particularly was doing terribly well, and I think there's a reason they canceled it.
Okay.
Well, and one of the big dreams of when everyone's saying if I could make one game, often one of the things people come up with is this idea of the RTS that you can then zoom down and take control of a single Marine in first person. Some games have tried to do this, some have failed. One kind of implemented it okay, but it didn't really work
What was
out.
that?
So it was Natural Selection 2.
The latest,
yeah.
the latest Call of Duty had a mode that was similar to that. It worked pretty well, but honestly, I preferred just the regular missions.
Yeah, and that was more like playing tower defense than actually playing an RTS.
That's a very good point. It was a lot more similar. It was very small maps.
And Natural Selection has a cool thing thing to it, but actually one person is playing the RTS and the other teammates are playing the first person. There is no back and forth to be had.
See, I always wanted that battleground in WoW. Two people get to be the RTS people controlling NPCs, and then you get 5 players on either side controlling hero units.
Yeah, well, it's powerful. I mean, look how evocative that was in Hard the Swarm. Just the idea that you could break down a gate and Dahaka's forces would come rolling through. And not to mention, it was relaxing to be like, oh, well, those badasses are going to take care of that over there for me.
Yeah, all of this is well and good and great as long as you're the person in control. If you respecting the chain of command is not really something that happens in Battlegrounds. Can you imagine?
In natural selection, he's the first man blamed for everything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Why didn't you get this upgrade? Why don't I have rocket packs? Why don't I have improved speed? It's because I'm spending my resources to do this and this. Well, screw you, dude. Get out of the command booth. Get out, noob.
That's a very good point. Break out the noob horns. Noob. Okay. All right. Now that we're blowing on noob horns, that is the end of the episode. Thank you for listening. This Week in Blizz is a production of amove.tv, and you can see more about This Week in Blizz at thisweekinblizz.com. The email is thisweekinblizz@gmail.com. We didn't have any new emails this week, so send some in because they're pretty much guaranteed to get on since we're at a low point on the emails. You can catch us live every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on amove.tv/live. Follow us on Twitter at This Week in Blizz. My personal account is at Garrett Art. Kyle is at Kyle Ferguson, and Ben is at Pixel Garbage. You can join us in WoW at vstheworldsguild.com. That is our Alliance Lightbringer US side guild. We're always looking for new recruits, so head on over there, fill out an application, and come say hi. NoMoonArt.com. No moon, like that's no moon. Art.com. That's the place to go for my stream graphic design. If you ever need your Twitch page looking nicer, come check it out. I'm always available for freelance. Kyle, where can people find you?
You can find me over at Biggest Fan Podcast, where we follow the fad that's driving you mad, and we're about to follow the whole madness that is the summer because we got some awesome stuff coming up. We did Emergency Pizza this last week because we still have a bit of a break. So we're doing Transformers next. Oh my goodness, Michael Bay. Oh lordy. Oh, God, is anyone not covered in dirt and sweat in that movie? She looks disgusting to me. At any rate, moving on.
Fair enough.
After that, we got Iron Man coming up, Thor, Star Trek Original Series. It's going to be a great summer on Biggest Fan. Check it out. Which one?
Original Series is so damn hard to watch.
You got to get in the right mind for it.
StarCraft Ghost looks great.
Shut up. I tried watching some original, some classic Doctor Who's this past weekend. That was hard.
Ooh, that's old.
That was really rough. Dear God, I love that their version of Mars is just a poorly painted wall. Flat wall. We're going to paint rocks on this wall. It's Mars.
Yeah. You know, watch yourself Trouble with Tribbles. That'll amuse you. It's a good episode.
I've seen enough clips and references of pop culture to where I feel like I would get nothing out of that episode.
All right, well, yeah.
It'd be like watching the Family Guy Star Wars spoofs before actually seeing Star Wars.
Okay, fair enough. I just say find any monster episode. I mean, personally, when I'm trying to get people into Star Trek, and not like I'm a big Trekkie or anything, not like there's anything wrong with that, no. But I go with the Borg episodes.
Okay,
those are always my favorite.
I like Wrath
Instead
of
of
Khan.
the Monster a Week is rarely.
Yeah,
they're kind of rough.
Underdeveloped. I like Wrath of Khan, and I like the new movie, and that's about where my fandom of Star Trek ends. So if you don't have a lightsaber, I don't have time for you. Check out Kyle and I also over on the Campaign Roundtable. That's our new show. Season 1 starts tomorrow. We're kicking it off with Portal 2, and then shortly moving into BioShock Infinite. And that is going to be an interesting episode. I'm very conflicted. I know Mike is not the biggest fan of the ending, and Kyle, you're just getting started.
I'm going to be playing along book club style, and I'm excited for it. I'm going to be the grounder in two guys who just want to talk ahead, I'm sure.
I'm hoping to God that you come out just overzealously loving it. So we can hit all the spectrums. You love it, me in between, and then Mike, who's just the hater of all haters.
And those are some big shoes to fill. I'm usually the heartbroken guy that the game is over, first of all.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that might work. And since you're playing along book club style, it'd be interesting to get a very immediate reaction, because I've been sitting on it for 3 weeks now. So we'll have to see. I just beat Tomb Raider, by the way. I really, really liked that game. It's good. It was very good.
Could you handle the Tress FX?
For some odd reason, it hates my NVIDIA card.
Yeah, man. That stuff's rough. New technology, you know.
Don't know what the problem is. It works fine if it's not a close-up cinematic scene. In the actual game, it's fine, but it ruins all the cinematics. I don't know what the problem is. Anyways, doesn't matter. Check out our sponsors, doghousesystems.com and tweakedaudio.com. Our code is TWIB. That's TWIB. It'll get you double memory on your next Doghouse Systems gaming rig, and that same code will get you 30% off and free shipping on your entire order of noise-reducing earbuds from tweakedaudio.com. Go check them out. We thank them for their support, and we will see you next week with another edition of This Week in Blizz.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.